Will you, press record on my phone?
What?
Press record on my phone. The app should already be open. No? Are you struggling?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
You got it?
I got it. I have to stay on place.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi guys, like she said, my name is Kameron Griffin. I am an Honors College alumni. I graduated in May. I'm back to do the grad in chemistry. Super exciting stuff, not hard at all. I do teach a few of you guys in my lab classes, which is kind of cool. But like she said, I'm here today to teach you how to moderate a conference. So the first thing I want to talk about is what you should wear. So a lot of times when you do volunteer to moderate a conference, they will give you a dress code. Sometimes it's something similar to what I'm wearing now, and sometimes they'll be like, hey, you can wear your Honors College t-shirt, which is fun. So you just need to make sure that you're wearing whatever they tell you to wear so that you can look as professional as possible. The next thing is that you do need to arrive on time. I know that's probably obvious, but arrive a little early to get your bearings, know what you're going to say, know how you're going to say it. You do have to present people's sessions, so try to read over the session title, and if you don't know how to pronounce a word, you can go ask them. They're not going to be mad if you don't know how to say the words in their very hard title, because a lot of times I don't either. And then the first thing that you're going to do when it's time to start is quiet the room. So really quick, I want you guys to all pretend that there's not a presenter. So talk among yourself, and I'm going to show you the best way to do that. Pretend, yeah, super fun. Okay guys, hi, welcome to insert conference name here. Today I'm going to do Tower Day because that's what I've typically moderated. So hi guys, welcome to Tower Day. This is session whatever, what time it is, what room it is. You're going to need to tell them to quiet their cell phones. So hi guys, welcome to Tower Day session whatever. Please remember to quiet your cell phones. Here is where you would give any announcements that the conference has told you. So please quiet your cell phones, and if the conference has told you to tell them to make sure you get your Chick-fil-A thing stamped. So please quiet your cell phones, make sure that you get your Chick-fil-A thing stamped for being here today. And then the next thing you're going to do is to introduce the session. So you're going to be like, this session is entitled blank, and then you're going to introduce the two presenters. So today we have B. Kameron Griffin and Darcy Burdett presenting their research. And then you're going to introduce the first researcher. So you would say, so first of all, I'm going to use myself because that's how I am. We're going to have B. Kameron Griffin presenting cellular uptake of polyphenols in a bacterial protein expression system. And you can read that straight from the thing. You obviously don't have to memorize that. You do need to remind them that all questions will happen at the end. Sometimes questions will happen after each presenter, so make sure that you know where questions are supposed to happen, so somebody should tell you that. Most of the time they're going to be at the end of both the presenters. So we have B. Kameron Griffin presenting her work, and then B. Kameron Griffin is going to come and present her work. An important thing about moderating is to cut the presenter, that's still not the right word, the presenter off at the time that they are allowed. So a lot of times it's 15 minutes. So if they have 15 minutes, you need to make sure that they take 15 minutes and no longer. The easiest way to do this, I personally like to sit in the back of the room, and I go ahead and let the presenter, I got it right that time, the presenter know that I'm going to give them timestamps. So for instance, I say, hey, B. Kameron Griffin, I'm going to tell you when you have 3 minutes. So you're going to do this before they start presenting, before you start quieting the room. So you're going to be like, hey, I'm going to tell you when you have 3 minutes. I'm going to hold up 3 fingers. If they ignore that, that's fine. That's just letting them know that they have 3 minutes. You're going to be like, hey, I'm also going to tell you when you have 1 minute. I'm going to hold up a finger, right? So if they don't start winding down after that 1 minute, what I like to do, since I'm at the back of the classroom and I'm not going to cause any distraction by doing this, I like to stand up on the side of the room, and that signifies, hey, you are completely out of time. And then if they keep going, if they get to a stopping sentence, I'll be like, okay, great, you're out of time, so we're going to have to ask the next presenter to come up, right? So then you're just going to say thank you, we're going to hold our questions till the end, and you're going to introduce the next presenter just like you did the first one. So you're going to be like, hey, this is Darcy Burdett presenting on something in psychology, whatever her title is. And then that person is going to come up and do their presentation, and then you're going to cut them off in the same manner that you chose the first time. Okay? So that's the easiest way to cut off a presenter. You can do it. There's probably a couple of different ways. I think that's personally the best way to do it, because you tell them discreetly, and then you kind of like, you're done. You're out of time. So after the second presenter has stopped, that is when you have questions. So you bring everyone to the front. There's 2, sometimes there's 3 presenters. So you bring them to the front of the class and ask for any questions. You need to moderate the questions as well. Sometimes one person wants to ask about 1,000 questions. They don't get to do that if there are other questions in the room. So you can pinpoint like, hey, you have a question, you can ask it. You have a question. And if you're done out of questions and that one person wants to ask 1 million more questions and you have the time for it, then that's fine. They're really interested. They can ask all the questions they want. You need to moderate the time for questions also. Typically it's 5 to 10 minutes. You'll know specifically what time your session is supposed to end, and you need to make sure that the session ends at that time. So just be like, hey guys, the question's over. If you're really interested, I'm sure the presenters will be out in the hallway later so you can ask them your final questions. But we do need to go ahead and wrap it up so that the next session can start. So between sessions, this is also an important thing. Between sessions, the presenters are going to need to set up their presentation. So they have, a PowerPoint with a flash drive. Sometimes they're just reading their papers, so that's really easy to set up. But you need to, before you start your session, make sure that every single presenter is ready, they have their presentation accessible, so they don't have to come up here and waste all their time pulling their PowerPoint up. Okay? So that is all I have to tell you. I know I talk fast, but that's just who I am as a person. Does anybody have any questions? No? Yes?
What do you do when a presenter comes late to their own session?
Well, so if you have a certain order, so it's supposed to be presenter 1, presenter 2, presenter 3, and they should present in the order that the bulletin has it, so that way if somebody wants to come for the last presenter, but they have to be across campus at another presentation, that they can come in and watch that last presenter. So first of all, you do want them to present in the order that it's written. If a presenter is late, you're going to skip, so if they're supposed to go first, you're going to let the second person go first. That's obvious. You're not going to waste their time. So the second person is going to go first, the third person is going to go, and then that presenter that is late, if they have to pull up their PowerPoint or they have to get ready, then they're losing their own time. They're not going to get their full 15 minutes presentation. So if they're late and they come in during the first presentation and then they have to pull up their PowerPoint during their time, they're losing their own 5 minutes that it takes them to pull up their PowerPoint. So you still say you have 15 minutes. When their 15 minutes is up, it doesn't matter if they're halfway done, it's their fault. So you're going to have to cut them off because you have to stay on time. Any other questions? Yes?
How do you volunteer to do that?
A lot of times it's going to happen, you'll know when they need volunteers. So there'll be Laura. Does Laura still do that? Laura will be in the honors meetings like, hey, I need volunteers. You'll get emails like, hey, we need volunteers. It'll post on the Facebook page like, hey, we need volunteers for this. And you'll just be like, hey, I would like to, what?
Attendance.
Attendance?
Yeah, you didn't go.
Oh, okay. Like, hey, I would like to volunteer for whichever one it is. Or you can volunteer for both. A lot of times if you volunteer, she'll tell you what you're going to do, but if you're more interested in being a moderator or being a runner or you don't know what that is, but you will, just be like, hey, I would like to volunteer for this conference. If at all possible, I would like to moderate, or if at all possible, I would like to set up the registration. So you can tell them what you would like to do. It may not be what you get. Another thing that Darcy said I forgot to mention is when you're sitting in the presentations, if you sit at the back of the class, it's easier. You need to take attendance for how many people are in that room. So that includes yourself and the presenter. So you're just going to count everyone that's in the room and just write it down. So make sure you take attendance. Sometimes you need to take attendance, sometimes you don't. So it really depends on what you've been told to do for that specific session. Any other questions? All right, well, thank you guys for letting me talk to you. I hope you have a happy Friday.